What's up, peeps? It's Mrs. Holt here for another art lesson with you guys. Today we're going to learn about an artist named Yayoi Kusama. If at any time during this video you need to pause, take a break, use the restroom, take a stretch break, a wiggle break, slow it down, rewind it, go back through and rewatch it, feel free to do any and all of those things. This video is for your use to go through and work on our next piece based off of our artist Yayoi Kusama. Let me introduce you to our new artist, Yayoi Kusama. Yayoi Kusama is a Japanese contemporary artist who creates paintings, sculptures, and installation art. Installation art is artwork that is installed in a specific place and is unique to that space. In the pictures I'm showing you, these are her infinite dot spaces, and you can walk into these rooms and take a sticker and place your own dot on the wall and be a part of the artwork. Yayoi Kusama was born in 1929 in Matsumoto, Japan, and is currently still creating artwork at 91 years old. When she was younger, she loved to draw and paint, but her parents did not want her to become an artist. When she could not afford to buy art materials, she used mud and flour sacks to make art. She moved to New York City in 1950 and began creating. Her work was a part of two new genres in art, pop art and minimalism. Yayoi Kusama uses the elements of art, shape, color, and repetition or repeating in her artwork. She repeats the polka-dotted circles over and over in her work. The repetition of her dots makes them seem infinite and endless. Alright folks, let's take a quick Google Earth field trip across the United States, across the Pacific Ocean, to a faraway and incredible country, Japan. Our artist Yayoi Kusama is from the islands of Japan, Matsumoto City, and we are going to go into Google Earth and I will show you how to get there from Nursery Road Elementary School if you could just zoom out and fly across the world. Let's check it out. Alright friends, so here we are on the Google Earth. Right now you are looking at Nursery Road Elementary School. That's where you go to school at. This is our school right here. You can see the neighborhood around. There's the soccer fields and the playgrounds, parking lots. Now let's travel to the place where Yayoi Kusama grew up and was born in. If we go to the search, she is from Matsumoto, Nagano, Japan. So if we click on Matsumoto, it's going to zoom us out. There's Lake Murray. Bye-bye, United States. And zoom in. This is Matsumoto in Japan. Japan is a small island country across the Pacific Ocean from the United States. And that is where our artist is from. She grew up in this city, surrounded by all these beautiful mountains. Let's keep zooming in and see what we see. So when Yayoi was born here, the city wasn't this big. It was mostly farmland, and she grew up on a farm with her parents. Now it's gotten a lot bigger, and there's a lot more roads and streets and city stuff. But when Yayoi was a girl, was you guys' age, she grew up on a farm in Japan. So this is more what the landscape looked like when Yayoi was born. So let's zoom back out from Japan. So there's the city. And across the way here is the capital of Japan. Called Tokyo. So the capital of Japan is Tokyo. It is right here. So Matsumoto is across the way here. So if we keep zooming out, and if you look, all this white stuff, see the green and the white? All that white is city. Those are all people that live in Tokyo. So we're going to keep zooming out, and you can see the islands of Japan. It's multiple islands. It's not just one island. The island of Japan. And if you look, the shape of the island kind of looks like a dragon breathing fire. Do you see that? Pretty cool stuff. So if we keep zooming out, you can see this is the Pacific Ocean. This is Japan. Here's our Earth. And we're going to go across that Pacific Ocean. Now we're back to the United States. This is the western side of the United States. Over here, we're down here. We're going to go back to Nursery Road. There's Lake Murray. And right here is Nursery Road. Wow, what an exciting field trip we just took. Next, let's read a book about our artist, Yayoi Kusama.
Yayoi Kusama, From Here to Infinity. Written by Sarah Suzuki and illustrated by Ellen Weinstein. Yayoi Kusama was born in the country of Japan, on the island of Honshu, in a town called Matsumoto City. An old palace made of wood and stone overlooked a moat where swans swam. The streets were lined with little shops, and snow-capped mountains rose in the distance, swallowing up the sun as it went down in the evening. Yayoi's family owned nurseries where all kinds of flowers and vegetables grew, and workers tended the plants as they matured from seeds to sprouts to stalks. But Yayoi yearned for a different life, far from the countryside. She dreamed about what lay beyond the mountains, in places far from Matsumoto City. She longed to leave home and see the world. Yayoi's mother wanted her to stay home and learn old-fashioned manners, how to dress elegantly, walk demurely, eat politely, and find a proper husband. But Yayoi wanted to become an artist. Every day she went outside with ink and brushes and paper. She drew things she saw and things she imagined. She looked closely at the pebbles that lined the riverbed and the leaves and the stalks of plants, and she drew them as chains of tiny cells that looked like dots. When she was older and studying in art school, her teachers disapproved of her work, and they demanded that Yayoi paint in the traditional, precise Japanese style. She wanted to go where she could live without rules. When she was 28 years old, she packed up her silk kimonos and thousands of drawings and stuffed dollar bills into the toes of her shoes. It was her first airplane trip. There were only 4 other passengers, and the weather was stormy with rain and lightning. The airplane wobbled and dipped as it flew to America. In New York, Yayoi went to the top of the Empire State Building, the tallest building in the city full of tall buildings. When she looked down, she saw buses and cars and yellow taxis zooming up and down the avenues, and bankers and teachers and artists rushing to work. From up on the 86th floor, they looked like little dots. She felt very far from quiet Matsumoto City and her mother's rules. Here, it seemed, anything was possible. Yayoi set about turning her drawings of dots into paintings. The dollar bills that she had brought to America quickly ran out, and she spent what little money she had left on paints and canvases. She worked day and night. She painted when she was cold. She painted when she was hungry. She painted when she was lonely. And she turned her dots into sculptures, too. into soft stuffed tubes that covered sofas and chairs and boats. She was devoted to her dots. For her, they were a way of thinking about the world among the stars, as one dot among millions of others. They were a way of thinking about infinity. Sometimes, when she grew frustrated, she visited the Museum of Modern Art. She gazed at paintings by other artists, and she thought about why and how they were made. She looked at pictures of dancing girls and swirling night skies, trying to solve them as if they were puzzles. Her paintings seemed so different from those she had seen at the museum. When she at last was ready to show her work in public, she invited all the friends she had made in New York. When she arrived at the gallery, a crowd was spilling out onto the sidewalk. Her friends lifted her into the air, shouting, "Yayoi, you've finally done it!" Word about her artwork spread quickly. Her friends told their friends, newspapers wrote about her work, and reporters clamored to interview her about her dots. Now she began to show them in other cities all over the United States and in Europe. Her dots were covering the world. They appeared in Venice in thousands of dot-shaped mirrors scattered over a big green lawn, and on a pumpkin on a pier, and on dresses and t-shirts, on people walking down the street, and in mirrored rooms where glowing dots were reflected and reflected again. It was an infinity of dots. Having visited many countries all over the world, Yayoi returned to Japan. The country had changed since she had left, and many different artists challenging the old traditional style, as Yayoi had been doing all along. Yayoi Kusama still lives in Japan, and she continues to paint her dots every day.
Wow, what an amazing book about our artist Yayoi Kusama. Now let's take a trip to a museum with another class of kids who are right around your age as they react and think about the work of Yayoi Kusama.
It's abstract. I couldn't count all of the eyes, but that would take me a lot of time. I saw stickers, and we put stickers on the wall. I wish I could have a house like the sticker house. But there's no food there. Sticker food? Polka dots with rice. I would like to do this whole thing if no one had came up with it before me. There's so many paintings. They look really awesome and weird. I see a giant eyeball. I have the feeling of them coming alive in my dreams at night. I saw an alligator in it. There was a monster in the darkness.
Is that scary?
No, because monsters don't scare me anymore. They're not real. I like that one. It's a little scary.
How much did you pay for this one?
For $1, $2,000 billion, 100. I don't know. Then did you buy it? Everything is off. The favorite part is when all the pumpkins look shiny. They couldn't touch the pumpkins. When you kick them, they break.
What do you think the artist is like?
I think she's in her 50s. A really old 30-year-old lady. I think 90s. And she has polka dots on her.
Would you want to take one of these paintings home to your house?
No, thank you. I have too much stuff in my house. I can't fit it because my room is like a square, a short square. There's weird things I liked because they're so weird. The one with the eyes was my favorite. and I want to be an artist when I grow up if there's any room for me in the artist club.
All right, friends, let's take a quick movement and brain break. Go ahead and stand up at your desk, stretch it out, make some room for yourself, and let's do a go noodle dance.
Banana, meatball. Yeah. Turn it up. Nerdy by nature. Turn it up. Patterns in the air, patterns everywhere. Patterns made of shapes, patterns made of grapes. Patterns on the cheetah, patterns on my feeder. Patterns in the nap, patterns in this rat. That's right. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Alright, cool. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, here's one. Banana, meatball. Banana, meatball. Banana, meatball. Banana, meatball. Banana, meatball. Banana, meatball. You got it. Turn it up now. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Alright. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, here's one. Nod, clap, shake your hips. 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 Bring it back. Come on, y'all. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Alright. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, here's one. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Loud, quiet. Patterns when I walk, patterns when I talk. Patterns in my brain, patterns down the drain. Patterns on my nail, patterns on the snail. Patterns on the walls going straight into my eyeball. Labs and zigzags, stripes and spots. Spirals, tiles, tater tots. Everywhere I look, these patterns emerge, and then I start to get this funny urge to make a pattern. Let's make a pattern. Alright. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Okay, last one. Elbow, stomach, elbow, stomach, elbow, stomach, elbow, stomach, elbow, stomach, elbow, stomach, elbow. Patterns in the air, patterns everywhere. Patterns made of shapes, patterns made of grapes. Patterns on the cheetah, patterns on my feeder. Patterns in the nap, patterns in this rag. One more time. Come on, yeah. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Alright. Make a pattern, let's make a pattern. Jump up and down.
I'm like totally obsessed with patterns.
Oh yeah. My nickname's actually Pattern. Anywhere you look, you can see a pattern and point it right out. Just gotta be paying attention.
Want to go full go noodle? Then click here and create a free account.
All right, friends, so here are the things you're going to need to create your own Yayoi-inspired artwork. We're going to use the infinite pumpkins as our inspiration for our artwork. Because not only is it spooky season and pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns are abound, but Yayoi used pumpkins in her artwork as well. So before you left school yesterday, Mrs. Holt gave you guys all a piece or two of colored construction paper. So to complete this art project, you will need those pieces of construction paper. So go ahead and grab your construction paper. You're also going to need a black marker. Could look like a Crayola marker. Could be a permanent marker, a thick permanent marker. Could be a Sharpie. Could be a black pen like this, could be a black pen like that, could be a black pen like this, could be a black crayon, could be a black colored pencil. Whatever you have that's black, that's what we're going to use. I'm going to show you how to create this artwork with a marker, regular Crayola marker, and with a crayon, because that's more likely what you guys will have at home. All right. To make our pumpkin, we're going to start with kind of a curvy kidney bean shape. And the first shape, we're going to draw it in the middle of our page. But we're not going to draw a teeny tiny little baby shape. We're going to draw it big enough so it almost touches the bottom and the top of our paper. You want your paper to be horizontal, long ways, not vertical. Horizontal. So you're going to start by drawing a curved line up top. It's going to curve in and then back out. And that's the start of our pumpkin. Draw your little pumpkin stem. Right now, that looks like a butternut squash. I don't know if you ever had butternut squash before. It's delicious. But that's what that looks like to me. I'm going to make my lines a little thicker just by going over them again with my marker. Okay. Now the next thing is to create the sides of our pumpkins. Super easy to do. You're going to start at the top, not the very tippy top, but down the shoulder of your pumpkin. And make a curved line out and around. Do that on both sides. Curve it out, straighten it out, curve it in. It doesn't have to look exactly the same on both sides. Do that again. Maybe this one's got a little funky edge to it, because not all pumpkins look the same on each side. And I might be able to get one more over here. Pumpkin number 1. I'm going to thicken my lines. Now, just like our artist, we are going to use a ton of repeating black dots to create repetition of shape in our artwork. She starts most of her pumpkins with larger dots going up the middle with smaller dots on either side. So if you start with larger dots going right up the middle, and then on either side of these large dots, they're a little bit smaller. Off to a great start. Now we're going to repeat that pattern over and over and over, getting smaller and smaller in between those gaps. We have our first shape done of our pumpkin. I'm going to repeat this pattern as I go along, except this time I'm not going to start in the middle. I'm going to start along the edge with my big dots. So along the edge, I'm going to make my big dots. And they're looking like they're coming out from the side. So I'm using a semicircle shape to create my big dots. I'm going to repeat that pattern. Smaller dots in the gap. For this next part of the project, once you're finished drawing your pumpkin, you're going to need scissors and glue. You don't need these kind of big scissors, you need your size scissors. But you're going to need scissors and glue and that other sheet of paper Mrs. Holt gave you. So we're going to cut out our pumpkin. We're going to hold it in one hand, follow along the outside of our thick black line. So I don't want to cut on the inside of the line. I want to follow along the outside of my thick black line. Really make sure you get all of the curves and edges that you drew. If you don't have scissors or glue at home, don't worry about cutting this out. Just bring your pumpkin to school. Don't worry about cutting it out and gluing it onto a separate sheet of paper. We'll do that when you get back to class. But if you do have scissors and glue at home, you're going to cut your pumpkin out from the first color, and you're going to glue it down to your second color. Okay? So add glue to the back. The last step is to treat the background with a pattern. And like the images we looked at earlier in the video, we're going to use those kind of squared, connected shapes to make our backgrounds. You want to start just by making a triangle. And from the point of that triangle, make another one. And then repeat. They can be different lengths. Different sizes. You don't want to draw a giant triangle. But you're going to just repeat the triangle shape over and over, just like you repeated your dots, until the entire background is done. I'm not quite finished with this pink pumpkin. I still need to do the background for it. But once your pumpkin is cut out and glued down to your background paper, flip your background paper over and write your name and your class code. You don't have to write the word name, you can just write your name. Your class code, remember, is the first letter of your homeroom teacher's name and the number of the grade that you are in. So if you are in Miss Jackson's 4th grade class, your class code is J4. If you are in Miss Porterfield's 1st grade class, you are P1. If you are in Miss Gigi's 1st grade class, you are GG1. You are in Miss Warner's 3rd grade, you are W3. So make sure you write your class code and your first name on the back of the background that you glue your pumpkin to. So on the back here. I'm going to finish the background of my pink and green pumpkin, and I will see you guys later. Have a wonderful day.